Happy Monday, everybody. I thought I would do a WIP and Chat while I am diamond painting. I am working on Train of Dreams. I haven't worked on it much lately. I'm forgetting what symbol. Oh, I'm looking for the letter R. And I thought I would talk to you about this past week or so because it's been a while since I have done any WIP and Chats. Now, I did start one last night, but I decided not to finish it because I wasn't really crazy about my camera angle. I'm not all that crazy about it right now, but we're going to go with it. So, what have I done this past week? Today is January 9th, if I'm not mistaken. It's Monday morning, and I had a pretty good week despite an unusual, well, maybe I shouldn't say unusual. Why don't I say despite a high level? We'll use the term high level of fatigue. My fatigue is difficult to match. I'm wondering, do I have long COVID from having COVID a few weeks ago? Is it simply fibromyalgia? Is it winter blues because it's mostly cloudy here in Massachusetts and hardly ever sunny? I don't know. All I know is I'm very, very tired, but I'm also very motivated. So I will take my naps and my breaks and lay down a little bit here and a little bit there. But for the most part, I fight it and I work on whatever it is I'm working on, be it a book review, a jigsaw puzzle, and now diamond painting. And I'm pretty happy with my level of productivity. So what is on my agenda for this week? Well, the very first thing is I do have an Instacart order being worked on, I should say processed. So I might have to communicate with the shopper. And then I think when the order comes in, I am going to get up and go in my kitchen and make some sugar cookies. I wanted to make them since last week, and then I discovered we were out of brown sugar, so I sent hubby to the store. The recipe called brown sugar cookies, and I really want to try to make them with brown sugar versus white sugar. So hubby got me some brown sugar because I didn't realize he had used the last of it in oatmeal, and so I want to make some cookies. I'm not a natural baker. Actually, I'm not a baker at all. My baking consists of Betty Crocker, but every now and again, I will find a recipe I want to try. I think I might have to put some more micro glue dots on. Something that I'm trying new is putting micro glue dots on my multi-placer. And I don't know if you just noticed that a few times I picked up drills and they didn't stick. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out where this, okay, so that's trash. But I'm happy because it's been maybe 2 weeks since I put these glue dots on here. So I'm not going to remove the existing ones. I'm just going to put a couple in a couple of spots. Now, me using micro glue dots on my multi-placer is pretty new. Like not even a month old, I'll say, because I haven't really diamond painted in a couple of weeks. And I have been using micro glue dots in my single placer for about a year or even longer. And one day I was putting wax on my multi-placer for the 1,000th time in one sitting. And I'm like, how about putting a layer of wax and then putting a few micro glue dots? Now I have sent micro glue dots to a couple of friends. One made it work, one didn't. And then another friend that I mentioned it to you too, and other friends even, are making it work. And I love them, and now I'm using them in my multi-placer. So let's try to pick up these drills with a new placement. Now I don't know how frequently I will have to add glue dots. I can't imagine it will be too frequently. But I don't diamond paint every day, and if I do diamond paint, I don't diamond paint for long durations. So I have completed 4 jigsaw puzzles this January. I probably could have done maybe 5, but one of them was like a buddy puzzle or a puzzle along. So I was really trying to go slow with it, but I don't know. My brain can't go slow. So that puzzle got done. So I did start a Charles Wysocki Cats puzzle. And it's called Remy the Horticulturist. And I love it because my sister has a pit bull and her name is Remy. So this is Remy the Horticulturist. And it's in my bedroom where I work on my puzzles. And I will get to it at probably... My goal is, I just started a new book and it's called The Lonely Girls, a Lucy Kendall crime thriller. And it's the 4th book in a series, the 4th and final book. I think it's the final book, but it's the 4th book. And I want to get to 50%, so I will diamond paint until I get to 50%. I just started it before I started this WIP and Chat. So I'll probably be in here for 2 hours. I think it's going to take 2 hours to listen to half the book. So what, I started to say before I had to change my, adjust my glue dots, is what is on my agenda. So videos. I have a haul video to do for my jigsaw puzzles. I have my monthly wrap up for, my reading for 2022. And I think I also need to make a year-end wrap-up for my reading video, and then also a year-end wrap-up blog post. I also have a blog tour for, I think the next, how many days in a row do I have a blog tour for? I'm just checking. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then I get a break on the 16th, and then again on the, then I go to the 17th. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 7 reviews that I need to write in the next couple of days. 7 videos are already made. I just have to write the book reviews and then cross-post them. So I've got a lot to do. And this is part of the reason that I try to fight my fatigue, because although I am homebound and disabled, I don't have to punch a clock. I have a very full plate. Very, very full plate. Of course, it's by design. I don't know why these drawers went down crookedly. Hopefully you don't see that. Let's just fix that up. I think the reason that my drills aren't going down straight is because I'm trying to not stick my head in the camera. And that is why my focus, my view is off, because of having the phone right in front of me. And it's just making it difficult to place my drills. It's just because of the phone, not because of multi-placing or anything like that. So, I had some fun puzzle experiences. One is January is National Puzzle Month. So Barnes & Noble had a BOGO sale, so I got those. So that's going to be my puzzle haul. And then one of my puzzle friends from the Puzzle Family group was at her local Walmart, and she saw a puzzle that she thought I would like, and she saw another one, so she's got some puzzles for me. Then Buffalo had a sale for a 1,500-piece puzzle, so that's coming today. And then I'm always stopping in on the Puzzle Swap Facebook group. And so after I finished at the Puzzle Pandemonium, I might have did it this morning. In any event, I looked at the group and I saw an Amy Stewart puzzle there. And Ryan from the Puzzle Family group, the group owner actually, just bought that puzzle at Walmart yesterday. It's 1,500 pieces, so my guess he paid about $15 for it. And this lady was selling it for $5. So I messaged her this morning when I woke up and asked if it was still available and for how much, because she didn't have a price listed. and she said $5. So that she sent me a shipping label already. So I should have that in maybe 3 days, 2 or 3 days. So I'm excited about that. So I'm always on the hunt for puzzles. When I look at the puzzle sites like the swap sites or eBay, I'm looking for large count puzzles like 1,500 to 2,000 pieces. I'm not doing them yet, but I'm accumulating them for March or April when I'm ready to buckle down to a larger size. Now, because I have some round puzzles, I think I have I have 5, but 4 that I want to do in the first part of 2023. I will be using cardboard that I have taped together. So I think when I am ready to move on to the 2,000 piece puzzles, because ground puzzles are usually 26.5 inches or 27 inches in diameter, and my puzzle table is only 25 inches wide on one end, on the square end. Well, short end, I should say. So I technically have a surface for 2,000 piece puzzles. I just have to get used to not working at an angle when I'm ready to go up that size. Fortunately, my bits and pieces puzzle board, guys, the misplacement of drills is not because I'm multiplacing, it's because of the camera. I just wanted to reiterate that. So anyway, my bits and pieces board will hold up to 1,500 pieces, and since I do a lot of White Mountain puzzles and they fit on it just fine, I don't have to worry about using a different surface for that, and I can use my angle and my, moving my table all around and all of that for the 1,500. And for what I have now is 2, and then I will have 3 2,000 piece puzzles. I'll have to use the cardboard that I plan on using for my circular puzzles. So I have a plan. When I made my December wrap-up puzzle video, I'm just looking around and make sure I don't have any more of the symbol, and I don't think I do. So when I made my December wrap-up video, I lined up some puzzles that I wanted to work on for 2023. Can you believe we're in 2023? 2023. So I am excited about that, and it's going to include some of those circular puzzles. But because I'm constantly getting new puzzles, that video is not going to be 100% accurate because I am a changeable one. Yes, I have to do what moves me. Now, last night when I had just finished my Michezo train engine number 9 puzzle, I couldn't decide what puzzle to do, and I was thinking to do either a cat's puzzle, a Charles Wysocki puzzle, or an ocean life puzzle, which I have 3 or 4 from Buffalo Games. So one of the ladies on the chat last night said, well, why don't you do a Charles Wysocki cat puzzle? So I get to do 2 out of 3 in one puzzle. So that's why I started Remington the Horticulturist. I want J because I did J when I first came in here, and I still missed some symbols. So let's get those few symbols that I missed right there. I see 4 or 5. So I'm very sleepy this morning. In fact, I got up and I wrote a book review for Just the Nicest Couple by Mary Kubica. I posted that video on this channel yesterday, and I wrote and published the review this morning. And I wanted to write the book review for Her Sister's Promise by Catherine Miller this morning. But I'm so sleepy that I said, nope, I've got to have my coffee. So I have my coffee right here, and I did all the template and graphics for Her Sister's Promise, and I published that video. So I just have to get that review written, and then the other ones that I had mentioned earlier. Now, let me tell you about what I'm reading. I'm reading in particular two series. One is a Lucy Kendall series by, all right, Robin, who's this by? This is by Stacy Green, and it's different from what I have read up until now because she is a vigilante. Okay, wait a minute. That is my Instacart shopper. Let's approve. Let me just, 2 11s. No, 2 bags, please. He's replacing 2 bags of lemons with 2 lemons. So I just have to tell him 2 bags, please. Alrighty. Just had to make that one. And okay. Alright, I just had to I think I had mentioned that I've got an Instacart order being shopped for, so I just want to make sure to communicate with my shopper. So I got those J's. I don't think there's any more. If there are, we'll get them later. And then I see these 4 F's, which I did last night, so we're going to grab those. So anyway, Lucy Kendall was a CPS worker, social worker, and she worked with abused children, saving them and reuniting them with their families when she could. And this one particular case just took her soul, so she quit her job and became a private investigator. But she had altruistic, or really not altruistic, motives, because this job as a private investigator allowed her to become, or she used her job as an investigator to become a vigilante. Because if the justice system wasn't going to put these pedophiles behind bars, then she was going to give them their ultimate judgment. Judge, jury, executioner. Totally different than anything I've ever read. So, what I thought about, and I do plan on Googling this before I write my book reviews and make my video, is Dexter. Now, I've never watched Dexter, but I've heard about it, and back in the day, I would see clips, little snippets of, like previews, I should say. And from what I can recall, and this is why I have to Google it because I'm not 100% sure, is he takes out the trash as well. His victims are people that the justice system didn't deal with to his satisfaction. That's what my memory tells me, and that's what Google will correct me on if I am wrong. Oh, I missed these 12s right here. So you can correct me if I'm wrong if Google doesn't do it. But I thought about Dexter when I was reading this book. So I called my friend Fashawn. It looks like I only had one of those. Sorry, using my teeth to lift the tab of this Tic Tac container. So I said, Fashawn, before I go on I had just started book number 2. And I said, before I read another word in this book and then the other 2 books in the series, we have an ethical dilemma here. How am I going to root for a killer? How am I going to laud this protagonist, this character, Lucy Kendall? So she helped me come up with a disclaimer. I won't say what the disclaimer is, but I have a fairly good disclaimer that made it so that I could read the book. That was dilemma number 1. Dilemma number 2, and I've talked about mental health on this channel, so I'm just going to say it. Dilemma number 2 in reading the Lucy Kendall series is she goes after pedophiles, child rapists, sex traffickers, the scum of the earth, and someone that comes from a traumatic childhood past, concerned me as to whether or not I would be triggered. Because sometimes when you read a book like, for example, Karen Slaughter, I'm not throwing shade on Karen Slaughter because she is one of my favorite authors. But when she writes her books, they are gritty. They are gritty. Okay? Now, like say you read an Eve Dallas book, right? By J.D. Robb. She is a homicide detective. So you hear about the murders. And sometimes those are very dark. But there's so much to offer in the Eve Dallas series that I'm not triggered by the murder cases that Eve solves. By comparison, if you read a Karen Slaughter book, which I think I have read 7, 8, 9 even, it's very gritty. Okay, so my question for the Stacey Green series, the Lucy Kendall series, is am I going to get that grittiness, that Karen Slaughter grittiness? And if so, would it trigger my traumatic past? So, for Sean, there I go lifting my tab with my teeth. See, I keep lifting this with my teeth. I probably can just flip it up and pull it up, but I don't know. So anyway, so for Sean, in all her wisdom, I was able to talk to her about it. And I said, as long as this author, Stacey Green, doesn't get too graphic or gritty, whichever term suits you better, I'm going to try to go ahead and read book number 2. Now, here's the kicker. I'm literally 2% into book number 2, and I say to Fashawn, I'm hoping that Lucy Kendall is redeemable. And Fashawn goes, oh, she will be, I'm sure. I said, but no, Fashawn, I'm 2%, not even 2% into the second book, and she's already done the deed. And Fashawn started cracking up. Oh, well. So then I go and say, well, I don't know. Should I continue? And how am I going to represent this in a video and in a book review? And then, like I said, the other part is it going to be triggering? Well, Stacey Green is an excellent writer. In fact, I am going to go to Goodreads because I am pretty sure that I have read at least one series by Stacey Green already, which is why I took this book sight unseen. So let's go to Goodreads. I don't know why I didn't go there. And we're going to go to my books. I have not logged any books. It says I have read 0 books this year, and I think I've read 10. I've got to log my books. So I just want to check, because I really like Stacey Green. I just don't remember the series, but we're going to find out right now. Stacey Green has written, okay. The Nikki Hunt series. I know I read a series by her. 5, 6. Okay, so I have read 6 books by Stacey Green. So what I did was when I saw Stacey Green's the request for the Lucy Kendall series, my brain says, oh, I love her other series, so I'll read it. Now here's my problem with Bookouture, the publisher that I do about 80% of my blog tours for. I have maybe 20 to 30 authors that come from Bookouture that as soon as I see their name in this private group for requests, I say yes, and I never ever read the blurb. That's what I do. Now, because I don't read the blurb, I'm looking for the colon. There we go. So, because I don't read the blurb, I had no idea what I was getting into with Lucy Kendall. But that's okay, because not just with Bookouture, with Graydon House, Harlequin, Park Row, Berkeley, Avon, Gallery, all of these publishers, most of the time I don't read the blurb. If I see the name or depending on the publisher, I'll say yes. So I jumped into the Stacey Green series completely blind. And now I'm reading of a vigilante murderess who is dealing with child molesters. I'm like, what? So I get to book 2 and she takes care of business. But then I just kept on reading, and now I am reading book 4 and so glad that I did not stop. I cannot wait to get to the point when I'm ready to make my video and sit down and write these book reviews. So when I make the book review video for the Lucy Kendall series, it will be for all 4 books in one video, and as well as the blog post will be for all 4 books in one blog post. That's what happens when you read a good author and you take a blind chance at reading something without reading the description. And so far, book 1, book 2, and book 3 are all 5 stars. They are. And I don't know where book 4 is going to land, but most likely it will rank pretty high as well. So I am going to get back to that after I'm done making this WIP and Chat. I got some crooked drills right there. But sometimes when you have a crooked strip like this, I find that it will straighten out better when I have drills on the left and the right of that. So just ignore that. So that's my reading. Now, remember I said I was reading 2 series? Well, Fashawn and I do a lot of co-reading. And by the way, Fashawn is a very dear friend. She's a fellow book reviewer and blogger. She has got another change. Yeah. So sometimes we read a lot of the same books, especially when it comes from Berkeley, Harlequin, Puckrow, Graydon House, and sometimes even Tor. And she says, David Rosenfeld has a new book out. And I look at it and it's got a dog on the cover. And with NetGalley, the book review site, some of the publishers, I am what's called auto-approved. I see the book, the publisher has given me rights to download any book in their catalog. So I grabbed the book. Well, Fashawn told me about the book without me investigating the series. Guess what? That's what I got myself into. I'm going to my spreadsheet. I got myself into a 28 book series. 28 books, which is nothing for me because I am a series fanatic. So I've already read the first 2, and the first 2 were Open and Shut and First Degree. And then after I finish this Lucy Kendall book, I will then read Bury the Lead and Sudden Death. And then I will also read Misfire by Tammy Giuliano. So those are going to be my next books. So I always have a very well curated TBR. I am not a mood reader, very much an OCD planned type A personality type, person where I always know what I want to do. So then after I read those 2 Andy Carpenter books by David Rosenfeld and then Misfire by Tammy Giuliano, I am then going to move on to Codename Sapphire by Pam Jenoff, and then The Last Letter from Paris by Karen Eastman. Those are February books. So I've got a lot of reading lined up, and can you tell that I don't have time to be sick and fatigued and exhausted? I have lots to do, And I think that with me having such a busy agenda, it makes my life better. It makes me coping with my stress, my anxiety, my depression, all of that much, much easier. Much, much easier. And I always multitask. Like, for example, with me diamond painting and listening to a book. Or like if I have a bunch of book reviews, I'll make all of my videos, edit them, make the thumbnails, get them scheduled, and then I'll go into my blog and I'll do templates for a bunch of reviews. So I always have a method, and I don't know, I hope that you can see. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing over here. And again, I can't put the drills down straight because I'm trying not to stick my head in the camera. So anyway, yeah, so I stay pretty busy, and it keeps me fairly happy, you know. I get my depression and my stress and my anxiety. That's never going to leave. That's always going to be part of who I am. But I cope by productivity. So that's all I'm going to do for now. I don't even think I am going to continue. Well, yeah, I guess I'll continue to diamond paint. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and listen to the Lucy Kendall book, like I said, for a couple hours. I really want to go work on that Child's Wysocki jigsaw puzzle. Isn't that terrible? I am doing this beautiful Train of Dreams painting, but I want to work on another puzzle that I just unboxed last night, or opened up last night. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and hopefully you'll see more of these WIP and Chat soon. Bye-bye.